Good morning. This is Shirley Farrington. I am your favorite real estate agent in Atlanta because I like to help people when they're renting a house and then they call me because the house just sold and they have to move. They've only been in it a year and they have to move. Now, all these vacant houses that are for rent are most likely going to be up for sale when the market gets better for selling. And there's a lot of different reasons why the market isn't really good for everybody to sell right now. It depends on the kind of mortgage that the people have. If they're still underwater, some may not be underwater, but they may not have much equity into it to sell, so they rent it. But a year goes by, and then they sell it. And then they call the tenants and say, we sold the house, so here's your 60-day notice that you're going to have to vacate. So the tenants are out looking for another house to rent. I have had tenants move, and then the second house was sold within a year or two, and they had to move again. So keep in mind, whatever you rent is going to most likely will sell. But there is another way to protect yourself from this, and a smart way too. That is, if the house is vacant and they're renting it now because it's a hot rental season and they can make extra profit with the rent, so it's good for the owner to rent it. But as soon as the market turns around for his particular needs, he'll sell it. But with this other program, it's going to be sold also. But wouldn't you like to be the one who gets the first right to buy it if you want to buy it? Now that's the smart thing to do. So you rent a house that is vacant, and it's gorgeous. It's got everything in it that you want. Well, everybody wants it also. And this house sold for $205,000 in October of 2016. The same house floor plan now is being offered at $218,000. Now this is with new construction because that goes up because of the cost to build. But if you were renting a house, now this particular, well, let me stay on that. The house would be worth, maybe the third year it might go up to 128, may go up to 138. Then the owner's going to sell it, most likely. And you have been renting it. Now, not this particular house, because this investor has bought the home to keep it for 5 years. So you would have 5 years you could live in it if you rented this one anyway. Maybe longer. But his minimum, he will not even sell it for 5 years. But you don't know that every time you rent a house. If you ask the listing agent, well, is the owner going to sell this house later? They're only interested in getting it leased, so they're not going to tell you that. And they may not even know because they don't know what the owner's going to do later or what their intentions are. But every house that you look at to rent that is vacant, keep in mind this house is for sale also. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year or the year after. So the best thing to do, smart thing to do, is to rent a house with the idea that if you love it after living in it, you might want to buy it. And you need to have in there the right to buy it before somebody else does. Where the owner, if he decides he wants to sell it, instead of calling you and telling you that you have to move because he sold it, he's going to call you and say, I'm putting the house up for market and I want to sell it. Do you want to buy it? So then he gives you a right to think about buying it. Then you go see a mortgage broker and you see if you can get a mortgage if you want to buy it, and then you can buy it. He can't just sell it to somebody else. He can't call you and say, that's if you have this clause in your contract. Then the owner can't just call you and tell you, I've sold it or I'm going to sell it to somebody else. We're going to close in 30 days, so you have to move, because you're going to have a separate clause in there that gives you the right to know that they're going to sell it, and they have to ask you first if you want to be the buyer. That is the smart thing to do. And that's what I wanted to get across to you. So this is Shirley Farrington. I have the key to every house that's on the market for sale or rent. And I also have the solutions to your problems. If you want to keep renting and then maybe buy a new house later, I have solutions for that also. Because I have another area that's not too far from this house, and it's a brand new house that you can rent now, move into it. Right now it's vacant, ready to go, and you can buy it later if you want to buy it. You can buy it in 3 months or 6 months or a year, or you can renew it. But you can buy a brand new house. You can be the first one to live in the house. This house that we're looking at here only had somebody living in it for a year, and it was built in 2015, the end of 2015. So this is a beautiful home too. But you can buy this floor plan. If this floor plan, before I go, this floor plan is sold closer into Woodstock, closer where they're selling new homes right now for $238,000, and this man bought this for $205,000, and it was up in the Canton area. So just a half an hour drive, you're going to spend $20,000 more if you closer in. So it's a good time to spread out, just like in every town. You know, the sprawl, the spread out. The newer homes are built further out that are less expensive. But the same floor plans, you know, there's a book of floor plans, and every builder uses the same book of floor plans. So you can get this floor plan from a number of different builders. That's another thing too. But this is Shirley Farrington. I've got the key and I've got the solutions to your problems. Give me a call, 678-294-6548. Thanks. Over and out.